I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
He was gobbling fucking wieners and buns.
I want to go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's going to happen Saturday.
Welcome back. It's October. The MMA Analysis has made its triumphant return. New Sean, wild times for you. It's like Christmas Eve, right?
You're damn right. McJesus is going to grace us with his presence tomorrow, and it all will be well.
I know you haven't, had, a big release since McJesus finished. So
it's been some serious edging since when was that? Like May.
Yeah, you've been meandering, and
need some
you've
sweet
kind of
release.
lost your mind. Yeah, you're gonna need a sweet little. Yeah, definitely a sweet release. A little bit short-handed tonight. The one from Nashville who shall not be named is obviously not here because,
he's heading to Denver this week to hang out with the old ball coach and Trish.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Nashville.
Oh, Nashville.
The Nashville
Kentucky.
Predator. Yeah.
I didn't even know we mentioned him anymore. That's kind of a waste.
We don't.
Waste of time.
We don't mention him by name. Wesley, on the other hand, is, I guess, heading out to Denver, like you said. He may make an appearance later. We shall see. Bradford's still on his modified, work schedule. If he shows up, he shows up. That's the deal. But we do have the California kid, Dougie. He's in here.
Don't you dare call me that.
You don't like that one, Dougie? What would you prefer?
Just about anything. But old butt chin.
He hates the Sacramento crew.
Oh. No, I don't even hate him, but that's like Ken Flo bad.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
He's like 40.
I don't plagiarize.
He still looks fucking young. He's probably
still looks 30.
He's still probably crushing some
Wonder
tang
Boy.
out there.
It's like Wonder middle-aged man. Like shit.
Oh fuck.
We'll call him California's finest. Is that better?
Yeah, I like that.
All right.
Oh, so good.
What's the deal? Are you becoming a jiu-jitsu ace? I hear you're going to be in another tournament coming up.
Yeah, it's not like the big when people talk about doing like worlds or whatever. It's not that. It's IBJJF. That's the like sanctioning body, but this is like a smaller one, but it's their worlds. But there'll be like a lot of people there because it's based like a California organization. And there's a fucking jiu-jitsu school on every corner in Southern California. So, but yeah, I've been
popular in Southern California.
A lot of Brazilians here. That's what I mean. This is where
here, but they do other shit.
But like Hoyce and Hoyler, or not Hoyler, but Hoyce and Horion and Hickson all came to like literally Southern California.
You really got them,
and that was 25 years ago. So. Now all of their students have their own schools and stuff. So, but yeah, I think because like I know my instructor came out here because of surf. It was like he was like, well, it was like America. Yeah, it was like America plus there's the surf, and like so he like this is where he located to. Yeah.
Good stuff.
But he specifically said that, yeah.
You expect to do well or what? Like, is it going to be tough?
I don't know, to be 100% honest. This tournament that I went to last time, both of my opponents no-showed, so I didn't even compete.
What the fuck, man?
And then I went to a really little one, literally the next weekend, and came in second.
Nice.
So, I have no idea.
So there were 4 people competing. You won the first round and made the final?
Basically. And I should have won, and I gassed out hard. They were bigger guys than me, though. But this will be age and weight appropriate, so I get to compete against old men. So
because you're an old man.
I just turned 36, so for jiu-jitsu,
Yeti's mad about calling him California.
I
kid.
know that's a fucking
huge age difference.
What kind of weight classes do they do? Is it every 10 pounds, or is it more than that?
Roughly, it's kind of close to the UFC's weight classes. It's kilogram breakdown, but I end up competing.
Is this where the Yankees money line guys?
54.
54 kilograms?
No, 154.
Oh,
154 pounds. Yeah, and then I have to get like 4 pounds under that. And then I know the next weight class down is 138.
Oh yeah.
Where do they come up with these weight classes?
I don't know.
Be a jiu-jitsu thing going way back, probably.
Yeah. Or no. The next weight class down is 141. Because I would have had to get to 137 because the gi weighs 4 pounds.
Shit. There you go.
But I don't.
The gi weighs 4 pounds. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're pretty thick.
Fuck, that's heavy for a piece of clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
It might be a little less, but you just lose 4 to be safe.
Yeah. Dropping some jiu-jitsu knowledge on us.
Huh.
It's almost like you're an athlete or something.
All right. Try to be. I try to be.
Yeah, good for you. We got a pretty good card this week. I don't know if either you guys... I'm sure, Dougie, you're excited for it. At least the main event.
Yeah. I am... I like a lot of guys on this card.
Yeah, there are definitely some doozy of fights on this one.
Always getting to watch the dude from the hometown that kind of has actually made it is pretty cool.
I
agree. That is it's definitely cool. New Sean, you excited for this one?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's been a while since... Well, I guess it hasn't been that long. I mean, the last pay-per-view I was at kind of fell through, so it's going to be good to finally see DJ break the record, and Kevin Lee Ferguson's going to be fun. There's lots of decent fun fights that I think it should be good, and some prospects on there. So it's got a good variety of everything.
Might as well jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Can I
UFC.
add one little thing before we start?
Sure.
I am ready to get judged next Friday, everybody, October 13th at AFC 100. I'm going to be streamed live doing my play-by-play debut, and I will be tweeting out later the link to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's going to be pretty cool.
Tune in, folks.
That's a very nice job.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, you'd be a really good analyst.
I know. Well, I do play-by-play in color, so...
Man of many talents
cool
there, Dougie. You jiu-jitsu, you call color commentary, and play-by-play. What can't you do?
Lots of hats.
Yes, lots of them.
Got to cover this big-ass head.
Shit. UFC 216. Here we go.
Yes, what a great card. Let's start off with a thrilling bout. Flyweights. Marco Beltran. Matt Schnell. I'll start off with the Canadian. What are your thoughts on this bout?
I liked your Schnell. That was solid. I didn't know what you were going to go with, but I was happy with the finish. So what can you do there? When the line came out for this, it's a total of 1.5, which is kind of crazy to see in a flyweight fight. But these guys have quite a few finishes and getting finished in the first round. So I mean, I guess I can see it, but it looks like it got bet decently at the opener. I don't really know what to expect from either of these guys. I think Schnell's fought the tougher guys. both of them on losing streaks, I'll just take Schnell, and hopefully it's fun, and I guess we'll see if either guy can finish in 1.5 rounds, because you don't see that in flyweights very often.
Dougie, any opinion on this bout?
I know both of these names, and I can't place either of them at all. I want to.
Yeah.
Schnell was on top.
Which means
Beltran was on
that hasn't mattered to me since top 14 or something like that.
Beltran's one of the random Mexicans.
Schnell fought Rob
those
Font
guys are way better than everybody thought they were going to be.
That's
true.
Is
he one of them? I can't remember.
No.
I think I'm getting him mixed up with Benitez.
Yes.
Gabriel Benitez. And so this would be, I would just assume if the total is 1.5, you just kind of blindly bet the over.
Yeah, it's probably a good play. Even though they both got finishes, the over probably hits, just because both of them have been losing lately. But
are they getting finished?
Yeah, they're getting finished, so maybe they'll be.
Smell.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start a fight card. They both got finished in their last 2 fights.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So
one was a corner stoppage, so it's good.
I'll just do this quickly. Schnell D+, Beltran a D. I mean, I think Schnell, he's been finished in the first round's last 2 fights, but he's fought pretty good competition, like Nushan said. But Beltran can't stop a takedown, and it's a tie game in New York.
Well, fuck you and your very quick cable.
Fucking lemon.
I told you, dude.
Jesus Christ. Well, there's a reason that line was that, and I'm
as you said,
fucking
it's
moron.
an unenviable position to
Look at
be
that
in.
crowd.
Whatever. Fuck the Yankees.
Yeah. Playoff games are fun to be at. I'll say that. Anyway, Beltran can't stop a takedown. It's really bad. That's not good. But how can you trust a guy like Matt Schnell who looked decent before he came to the UFC and then just finished in the first round in his 2 fights in the organization? So to me, this is a loser leaves town match for sure. And with the added pressure, it's really kind of. I don't know if you can really trust your money on either guy at this point. I think Schnell's more talented. Beltran, like I said, can't stop a takedown. But neither guy has shown proven worth, investing your money in. So to me, this is an easy pass. Next fight on the card, pretty interesting bout. I like to think. Maybe not necessarily like 2 really entertaining fighters, but in terms of divisional position, both these guys, fringe top 15 middleweights. Talis Hello Ladies against Brad Tavares. Nushan, what do you think of this one?
So this is going to be a trend for me tonight. I took the opener over 2.5 at -190. It's moved a bit. It's -230 now, but these guys are decision machines, man. Tavares got knocked out in round 1 against Whitaker. I mean, that can happen, but other than that, he's been in 3 of his last 4 fights and went to decision. 4 of latest's last 5 have gone to decision. I think this is going to be terribly, terribly boring with a lot of grinding on the fence and just positioning on the fence. It's not going to be good. With Talis latest at +160, I'll probably pick that in Toutmaster, just because I think it's going to be a close fight. They're both usually in very close fights, and I'll grab some doggy action, but the money play is the over for me.
Douglas.
Yeah, this is one of those fights where I would probably stay away from either side, and I like the over here, even at 230 is not very terrible, especially with these 2 guys. I don't understand what Tavares' game plan would be in this fight. Is he gonna just push him against the fence the whole time?
That's what I'm thinking.
Because he doesn't want to take him down. I don't think he wants to grapple with Leitus unless Leitus is really tired. And they're probably a wash on the feet.
No.
Who's better?
Definitely Tavares.
Yeah,
way
a
better
bit of an
boxing.
edge to Tavares.
Lightus has gotten quite a bit better.
I disagree.
I mean,
Tavares is way more fluid with his
I'm
boxing.
not ready to like, you know, like go to bat for Lightus as a good stand-up guy, but I just, for some reason, I feel like he's gotten a little bit better, and I've never been real impressed with Tavares, but it seems like the call would just be to go the over and then walk away from this.
Yeah, that over is really easy.
Piece.
Yeah, I do like that over. That, like that Nushan said, I didn't even really look at it. To be honest with you, before the fight, I got both these guys a C+. But I do think Tavares has the advantage in this bout. You know, they're both really kind of, you know, above average middleweights, fringe top 15 guys. But I think this matchup favors Tavares simply because you know, I think the ground games are going to be nullified, so it's going to be a stand-up fight. And Tavares can either push against the cage, and he's a much more fluid striker. Ladies is still like kind of a rigid puncher. Tavares rarely gets hurt in bouts. And he's just going to land the better punches in this bout and win. It's not going to be super exciting. But like I said, for divisional importance, you know, it does have some meaning, on this undercard. So I like Tavares. I think he wins, and I got him in a parlay, with a fighter coming up. We'll talk about it in a bit. Next fight up on the undercard, which is really a pretty decent, Fight Pass undercard overall. John Moraga coming up against another one of the from the Russian tank, Magomed Bibulatov. Nushan, what do you think of this one?
I mean, Bibulatov's a big favorite, and I think it's justified. I mean, the UFC had to sign Trash Can Mukhtarian just to get John Moraga a win after he lost 3 straight. I think Bibulatov is a very, very good fighter. I think he's already a top 5, and he's probably going to be a title contender right away. Moraga was one of those guys where we thought that, you know, he beat the guys he lost to the guys he should and beat the guys that he shouldn't, beat the guys he should and lost to the guys that he should. But then he started losing to like Nicolau and just not looking good in other fights and stuff like that. Like, he's not good in my opinion, and I think Bibulatov is going to style on him. I didn't play the money line, but I will be playing the -3.5 points handicap when it comes out. I'll parlay it with something later in the card.
Dougie, are you as high on Bibulatov as Nushan?
Not quite, but I think he's going to win fairly convincingly here. This is just a guy on an ascension versus a guy on a descension, and I'm not going to pay the price to see it, but I think Bibulatov is going to be pretty good down the line.
I got Moraga a C and Bibulatov a B. I'm more on the Nushan camp. I think he's the real deal. You know, there's a lot of talent with him. He's a pretty young flyweight, and he can do a little bit of everything. And I shouldn't. That's kind of understating it. He's a really solid wrestler, and he can mix it up with a pretty impressive striking game. You know, there's just a lot of tools there, and he's going to beat most flyweights without really having to go through much adversity. I think he's fringe top 5, maybe 7 or 8 at this point. I can see, pretty easily, just based on my grades alone. And from what I see from Moraga, I mean, he's had a couple luck job wins in the UFC, but outside of that, I really don't see him being able to win this fight. He's not going to be able to get Bibulatov to the ground, and he's going to lose a striking battle on the feet to a much more talented, all-around striker. I don't even know if he's going to get hit much in this bout. So I like Bibulatov a lot here. I think he's probably the easiest bet on the card. He was -425, which I parlayed him with Tavares. That was -110. He's now, the last time I saw he was -565. Is that still the number, Nushan?
It is -525.
Okay, down a little bit, but this seems like a pretty easy bet. For a guy who I think is one of the best in the division. and he'll probably get a contender, number one contender type of fight at some point in 2018, I would imagine, with potentially a title fight even in 2019, if not earlier, because if DJ continues to clear guys out and looking for new contenders, I guess anything's possible. One more fight on the Fight Pass prelims.
Why the fuck is this the Fight Pass prelim? Is a better question.
I guess they're looking for Fatty's going to Fatty maybe Walt Harris against maybe the best last name in the history of life, Mark Godbeer. Nushan. Are you a believer in beer?
He's fucking terrible. I mean,
he got subbed by Justin Ledet.
The boxer.
Didn't that just happen?
No, that was November of last year. In the meantime, he went to a 3-round decision with Daniel Swallows.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's
sure did.
Yeah, there's fucking no way I'm playing Walt Harris. 3-1 on a heavyweight that is the caliber of Walt Harris. I mean, he did beat the ever-loving shit out of the heavyweight French baby dick last time, but
wait, what?
Cyril Asker looks like... Yeah.
What you call him? A heavyweight baby dick?
Heavyweight French baby dick, as in the guy who used to be on this podcast. That's who he looks like. Take a look it up. He does.
Oh shit, he kind of does. Oh, I pictured it. Oh no, this is false.
But yeah, there's no way I can lay minus 290 on Walt Harris. I mean, this is heavyweights. Godbeer could land a punch very easily. But he could also get cracked. So Fatty's is a 1.5 at minus 115. It's definitely possible, but I am not playing it right now.
Are you going to even watch this fight?
Sure. Oh, Dougie. Oh yeah,
I'll watch this fight for sure. This fight will be fun for.
For how long?
I don't know how long.
It's either going to be fun because it's going to end in like 2 minutes, or it's going to be fun because these guys are going to be absolutely dead tired after 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, I don't have a side on this.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I got Godbeer an F, Walt Harris a D+. There's a real athletic gap. I think that's the difference. I mean, I guess you can never trust Walt Harris. As much as I want to start believing, you can't, right? I mean, you just can't. He should win. He should get a knockout, but it's Walt Harris. So there's plenty of other options on this card to put your money on. This isn't the one. So let's move up to the televised portion of the card. Pearl Gonzalez against someone called Poliana Botelho. I assume neither of you even care about this bout.
Not a chance.
You love to watch it, but you have no desire to put your money on it, right?
This is terrible. Like, they just find these chicks. Like, this Botelho chick hasn't fought since 2015. And it was in the 4th round, so obviously it was for a title that she won. But then she just decided to not fight anymore. I don't know. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Is that what it is? Well, yeah, that's probably...
I don't know. Do you think I know? Come on.
I mean, it sounds like she might have had a child.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll go with that. So what we're saying is she probably has mom quit and Pearl's going to finish her. Is that what we're going at?
You think Pearl hasn't had a kid?
Yeah, didn't Pearl have a kid?
God damn it. Now it doesn't work.
She's just a hard pass.
Gotta love when a chick who hasn't fought in over 2 years is a minus 135 favorite against.
Oof.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oof.
That's the correct response.
I think Dougie's done with his analysis.
Next.
Yeah, I don't have a grade on Botelho yet, so quite frankly, yeah, I would stay away. There's zero reason to bet this bout. Next one up, this should be entertaining. Bobby Green, another California dude, against Lando, what's his name? Gnarly, Funky, Venata? What does it call himself?
It's groovy.
Oh, sorry. I forgot my 90s catchphrase. Sorry. Nushan,
you used to say groovy in the 90s?
Yeah, when Austin Powers, man.
Isn't that the 70s?
Wow, yeah, that's true. But then it got cool again when Austin Powers came out.
I just remember from Super Mario Brothers 3 when they had like these weird, they had like one world where they had like all those names, like gnarly, funky, groovy. Doesn't matter.
There you go.
New Sean.
This is another fight. I took the opening over. It was minus 150, over 2.5. Bobby Green's usually a pretty durable guy. He's in some, I don't know, hard to watch fights usually. He did get cracked pretty good by Dustin Poirier because he was being a moron. You know, that's kind of what Bobby Green does. But I don't know. Venata is a hard one to figure out. He just went to the absolute war with Ferguson, almost beat him on like no day's notice. Then had that just unbelievable knockout against Makdessi. And then kind of loses pretty badly to Tamer. I mean, we kind of thought Tamer was pretty good, but I think most people thought that with the momentum Venata had, he would be able to take that one. So this is kind of a tough matchup. I think it's pretty close, but I'm just kind of happy with the over at this point. I might take a shot at Bobby Green by decision when it comes out, if it's a decent sized number. Other than that, Venata probably wins a decision.
Dougie, what do you think here? You're going to side with the California guy?
The same. Bobby Green's a dummy.
He's a weirdo and a dummy. Like it's just widely known that.
Yeah, like
I forgot Venata's born in New Jersey. Weird.
He's had some kind of rough shit happen to him,
I
don't know.
His brother was murdered, right?
I believe.
I think so.
I believe.
Like a gang, like a drive-by. I think it was.
Yeah, and I think his brother wasn't actually like in a gang or something either.
Yeah, it's yucky.
But I had the same thought. In my notes, I have written down the over here at it. I saw it at 160 and liked that. I haven't bet it yet because my dummy book hasn't released it. But I think I would probably take a small stab on Green if he gets over 200-ish or 210, something like that. I would maybe jump on him. I can just see him winning a shitty decision. Venata should probably win just based on volume. But this will be an interesting fight. He's going to fill the space that Green talks shit into with spinny shit and stuff. So it'll be interesting. He's going to engage, that's for sure. So They're not going to stare at each other.
I'm kind of going with Dougie here. I got Green actually a C+, with Venata a C. So I actually grade Green a little higher than Venata, and it's simply because he's shown that he could be competitive with quality fighters. Venata, for as much as he talks his bullshit, I mean, he got schooled by David Tamer in his last bout. I mean, he had that bizarro kind of a fight with Tony Ferguson, which I think everyone just like hyper overgraded the guy, but he's still extremely hittable, and and he takes a lot of chances. Bobby Green, he's has a little bit of flash in his own right, but he's a little more reserved defensively, and he always finds himself in close fights, and that's really the key here for me. He's a guy you never want to bet on his big favorite, but you certainly don't mind having your money on as a significant underdog, because is both guys alluded to, it's very likely going to go to a decision, and it's going to be like, well, who kind of looked better? It could be difficult rounds to score, and at nearly 2-1, it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of like that. I like having 2-1 odds on a who the fuck knows what happens at the scorecard. So I'm kind of with Dougie in that I'll wait a little bit longer just to see how this moves. If it goes over 2-1, I think it's definitely a green light. And
there we go. I'm back.
Are you ready to talk about your favorite Bellator fighter, Ill Will Brooks?
Yeesh.
Do you take a nap during this bout?
I'm gonna bet goes to decision when it comes out, and I'm gonna parlay it with Bibilitov's minus 3.5 points handicap. Nick Lentz is a tough bastard. I don't think that he's gonna take any easy way out. I think this is gonna be another kind of boring fight. I mean, the wrestling probably should cancel out. Maybe Will Brooks can get him down and keep him down. I know that's kind of a tough thing to do. He can kind of go the mac and cheese route. I don't know. Will Brooks has been kind of such a disappointment, and I don't know if he's regressed because of USADA or what the hell it is, but we keep expecting him to show up, and it just keeps not happening. So I'm not putting my money anywhere near that guy. I'll just kind of be happy if it goes to a decision. But Will Brooks should win, but minus 340. Yeesh. For a guy that's let some, me included, a bunch of people down a couple times in his UFC career. No thanks.
Dougie.
I was really, really high on Will Brooks coming into the UFC. And even after his first loss, I was pretty convinced that he was going to be able to turn it around, and I just don't believe anymore, which is depressing because usually if I have a guy pegged, they're generally...
You like pegging guys, Dougie?
I like...
Got him!
Damn it.
Sorry, keep going.
But Nick Lentz is getting old and slows down really bad, but I don't think you could ever lay the 340 on Brooks. So what's the over?
It's pretty juicy. I think it is minus 250.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I was hoping to get goes to the decision maybe.
But how could either one of these guys finish the other guy even?
I don't know. Maybe a sub. In some kind of scramble. I know.
Weird. Maybe that's an okay parlay piece. That seems like a pretty good parlay piece. That's probably what I would just do. This fight reeks of disappointment and old fucking wrestler. So.
Yep.
Just bet the over.
I got Brooks to C+, Lentz a C. This is the fight I think Brooks should win because I don't think Lentz could hurt him on the feet, and I think Brooks is physically more imposing than Lentz. I think Lentz, when he was at 145, was like a physically imposing wrestler, but at lightweight, he's just undersized. I really do, but you guys are right though. Brooks has been a disappointment. He hasn't really come out and said, "Whoa, I'm here, and I'm a tough ass to deal with," and I'm not sure he's ever going to do that for whatever reason it is. Maybe it's a USADA thing. Maybe it's I don't know. Because he definitely. Those Chandler wins in Bellator were really said something, and it just hasn't materialized here. So I think Brooks wins. But, at the current odds, you almost want a tout master kind of a thing. Maybe even look at Nick Lentz. It's plus 280. That...
Yeah, or maybe take Lentz by decision, because that's going to be probably a pretty big number, considering his money line's that. And
how could Lentz finish?
Yeah, so...
What, submission?
Maybe. I guess...
He's not knocking him out. He's not.
Yeah. I don't know.
Stranger things have happened, but yeah. Next fight, I think might be my favorite fight on the entire card. Tom Duquesnoy versus Cody Stamann. Nushan, I'll let you talk about that one first.
Yeah, this should be a really, really fun fight. Couple prospects, one a lot kind of more known than the other guy. When Stamann made his debut, I didn't really know too much about him. He kind of came from a organization that's not very well known, but the way he beat Tyrion Ware was pretty impressive. He showed some good skills, and if he continues to show those, it's a good thing. But it's tough to know when a guy just kind of comes out of nowhere, puts on a good performance, if that's kind of just lightning in a bottle or if that's more to come. Tom Duquesnoy is more of a well-known guy. He was a dual champion in Bama. He seems like he's fought the better competition, and he just has just unreal skill. This is one of those fights that we might look at after the fact and be like, really, Duquesnoy was only a minus 170 favorite, or what? I mean, he's even lower at some books, but I'll pick Duquesnoy. And I expect him to do some really sweet shit, but I'd like to see what kind of Stamen has one more time before I make a judgment on him.
Dougie, what do you think of this one?
Oh, I'm all over Duquesnoy. I just think there's levels to this shit, and I think that's what Sean said, where people will look back after this fight and be like, oh, we could have got 170? Fuck, we're not getting that again. I don't know. I really like Duquesnoy here. I think he's going to run him over.
I got Duquesnoy at B, Cody Stamen a C. Like I said, this is one of my favorite fights on the card. I think it's a bit closer than no. Than my grades indicate, because Stamen, obviously has a pretty solid offensive wrestling game. He's a really good athlete. A really good entry into his takedown attempts, and he's powerful. We haven't really seen Duquesnoy's defense. I guess outside of the UFC, he showed he had decent defensive wrestling ability, but really don't know too much against higher caliber fighters. Stamen, has a talented striker on the feet, but Duquesnoy is probably one of the most talented offensive strikers in the division. He just has a beautiful arsenal of skills, and he's, widely considered one of the best prospects in the entire sport. He's a guy that could be a champion at some point. He has that level of ability he has to kind of prove himself in this organization. I think this is a really good test for him. Just to have to kind of show off some different some different types of skills than he had to show in his first UFC bout, and he was kind of hurt in that bout, which was a little kind of disappointing. I thought he was just going to run all over the guy, and he ultimately did. But this is a different kind of a test, and one I'm looking forward to seeing. So I haven't invested my money in this one yet, but I do feel like Duquesnoy does get the job done. But for me, I really just kind of want to sit back and enjoy it, because, like I said, I think it's one of the best bouts on the card, if not the best one, in terms of potential entertainment value. Moving up, we got the main card. First bout's a really interesting one, actually, at lightweight. 2 ranked lightweights. It could be a chess match. Beneil Dariush, Evan Dunham. Nushan, start us off.
Evan Dunham seems to be, criminally underrated. He's been a bit of a money train for me in his last bunch of wins. He's never too big of a favorite against some lesser guys. And fucking Yankees. And then he beats guys even when he's an underdog. So Dariush did look really good against Barboza until he caught that knee. I thought he was well on his way to getting a decision, and I had bet Barboza in that one. Dariush has kind of been flatlined now a couple times. It's not great. He's kind of shown a bit of a sketchy chin. Evan Dunham doesn't really have much for power, but he does have crisp boxing, and he definitely can play the grind on the fence. My big play on this, well, it's not a big play, but my play on this one will be the over again. I haven't played it yet. It's right around 185. I might just play the goes decision minus 160. And then I'm just going to have to sprinkle a little bit on Dunham by decision. He's just been too much of a money train. I got to put a little bit on him. It's plus 315 right now. I think that's his way to win. And yeah, he just seems underrated. But Dariush is pretty good. But coming off that rough knockout, it's good enough that I will play it.
Douglas.
Yeah, this was one of my very first reads on this card. Was when I saw Dunham at plus 200. I took an immediate jump on that. I would probably take Evan Dunham plus 200 at versus just about anybody. He's like always in fights, and he's always, if he loses, he can lose to guys, but he's game, and we've seen Dariush lose, and I can see him edging out a split decision here, taking over in the third round after splitting the first two or something like that. I don't know if Dariush can get Dunham to the ground. I don't know if he's a better striker either. This is just going to be a good fight. This will be a fun fight. This is like a matchup I've never really thought about, but this will be an interesting matchup.
Are either of you concerned about, from a Dariush perspective, the fact that he took a horrific knockout in his last bout?
Yeah, it's just Dunham. I mean, that's why I'm sprinkling on Dunham, but he hasn't really shown much power against good guys. I mean, he does have crisp boxing. He could tag him, but I think Dariush will have good defensive boxing and stuff like that coming off that knockout, so he'll try to protect it a lot more, but it is a little bit dicey with that chin and those couple bad knockouts against Nijam and Barboza last time.
Yeah, I got both guys at B. I think this is a chess match. Dariush looked really good for about 8.5 minutes of that bout against Edson Barboza and outsmarted, a really, really, really good striker. So it definitely is cause for reservation if you're a Dunham better, I think. But I think it could be really close. It's just tough to get a read on, one fighter being able to dominate the other. Could Dariush score takedowns here? I don't know. For me, this is just a really tough fight to read. And it could be close, when it hits the scorecards and be one of those, like, we don't know who wins kind of things again. Like I was talking about before with the Bobby Green Venata fight. And from that perspective, I could definitely see, making a small bet on Evan Dunham, just kind of fading the number, so to speak. But in terms of, really putting some hay on this bout, I think I don't know why you would, because I just think it's one of the harder fights to read on the entire card. And there's definitely, I think, some better opportunities, even later up on the main card. Next bout, I think we're going to agree to pass.
Yeah, what
it's
the fuck?
Another women's bout.
They're putting on two
between
women.
Someone by some Mara Romero Barea versus Kalindra Faria.
Neither of these chicks have fought in the UFC. I mean, obviously, because they're flyweights. But why are you putting this on the pay-per-view card? I know she was supposed to fight Andrea Lee, but guess what? She's gone, so this chick should not be on the pay-per-view. It's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I gotta be honest with you. So let's agree to skip that one.
Yep.
Let's move up to maybe some more fatties go to fatty.
Whoa. I want to talk about that.
Oh, let's hear it, Dougie. What you got
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I bet you are.
I want to talk about it.
You probably know more about that bout than Lance, though. Wait,
I've heard of Kalindra Faria.
Yeah, I don't think the guy from Tennessee has ever heard of Kalindra Faria. So you got that one. You're ahead of him. Fatty's going to fatty, maybe? Derek Lewis, Fabricio Werdum, and then Werdum getting Could someone tell me what the hell happened between Werdum and Tony Ferguson? Because I don't have a fucking clue.
Werdum's manager is Ali.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Fucking snake man. I ever tell you got a DM from him?
No.
Wait, you got what?
I got a DM from Ali once.
Why?
Because he was mad because I called him a snake oil salesman
on Twitter or what?
Yeah, I called him out on Twitter for just
who does that?
Like being a shade, like being
Did
super
he say
shady.
that in Egypt, snake oil salesman is very, very respected job?
and that he's a liar and he's got terrible business etiquette. He didn't like what I said. He basically said why all the hate? Where's the we're kind of like I'm a lover, not a fighter. Kind of.
Why am I not surprised that comes from a
I've
greasy
gotten
fuck
on
like him?
full-on arguments with that guy on Twitter before.
Yeah,
and he never blocks me.
Get a fucking life, man.
Let me see if I can find it.
That dude is a
I don't
absolute
know.
greaseball.
I don't know who you are, but I'm not sure where all this hate is coming from, and I never responded.
Like, why are you searching for your own name? Because you didn't tag him, so he's just fucking searching for his own.
I might have. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what happened.
Fuck, I don't know.
Oh, see, I tag him into all kinds of shit.
I wouldn't necessarily tag him per se, but I might have responded to him or something. Yeah, I don't remember what it was all about, but I was definitely throwing like Michael Bisping vitriol. So it was probably pretty significant.
Coming with the heat.
So yeah. Anyway, continue with what happened with. So Ali did something to piss off Tony.
Well, he's Khabib's manager, so him and Tony go at it once a week.
Yeah,
and I'm sure
whose Twitter account from Ali's
heard about it.
That's a good question.
So I just think it was a short fuse situation.
Well, and Werdum's a shitty person, so.
Well, that's obvious.
And Tony's not super good in social situations.
He's not a guy that plays nice at a bar.
I don't think he understands how to talk to people very well.
You would know better than I would, Douglas.
Yeah, that's how I would say that.
That's how you'd put it. That's probably a good way to put it.
He wears blue mirror lens like triathlete sunglasses everywhere, in a suit with blonde tip hair, and it's 2017.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 2017 here. He's not from Korea, or something.
He's in his mid-30s.
Yeah.
Some characters. That's some definite characters.
All right, new Sean. What are we doing with this bout? Anything?
I actually kind of like the under in this one. I know Werdum, him and Overeem just have weird fucking fights where nobody pulls the trigger and nothing seems to happen. And then you compare that to his fights with, Mark Hunt, Velasquez, Miocic, like he was fucking going for it. So I kind of expect that. I kind of expect him to take down Derek Lewis, and if he takes him down, Derek Lewis is in a lot of trouble. But if Derek Lewis fucking does connect or gets on top of him more likely, then his ground and pound is legit. I know he doesn't have the greatest just standing punching power, but if that guy is on top of you, it's not a good thing. I haven't played it yet. It is sitting at 2.5 at minus 130 for the under, but I kind of do expect Werdum to, tire Lewis out a bit and then probably get him down and tap him out.
You think he's going to sub him?
Werdum's going to sub him, yeah.
Right. Give me a round prediction.
I would say early round 2.
Dougie, you agree with that?
Yeah, but probably late round 2.
Something like more that.
I think he's going to kick him in the belly a bunch of times. And
what's the belly kicks?
Lewis isn't the type of guy that would give Werdum a lot of issues, I don't think. And he's going to have to beat himself, I think, to lose this. And I think if Lewis gets at all tired, he's fucked here. So I like Werdum. Probably not going to bet him though, because heavyweights are
trash.
Yeah,
a lot of volatility. Good word for I got Lewis a B-, Werdum a B+. I agree a lot with Dougie here. I think that's if Werdum loses, I think I agreed. He has to kind of beat himself. He could kind of keep distance. Lewis isn't a guy who's going to kind of bum rush you and just kind of physically dominate you to get a KO. Sure, if he gets on top of you, he's he could KO anybody. And most of his knockouts, come from top position. Like either he hurts you on the feet or he kind of takes you to the mat and then pummels you with top control, and ground and pound, which is, really good. He doesn't really do much otherwise. He's not volume heavy. Werdum, a capable enough striker, has faced so many different types of strikers over the years, and he really shouldn't be that tested or scared of Derek Lewis, other than he's a really physical guy. And then Werdum is a lot smarter of a fighter. You'd think that would be a difference, and he has a way better gas tank than Derek Lewis does. We've seen that over and over again. So I could definitely see Werdum, having success late. And then remember, Lewis kind of retired, and then he's back. Like, he's just a weird kind of a dude. He's just kind of a weird kind of a dude. Yeah. Plus the whole, Houston Hurricane situation, him helping, that whole dynamic. What has he been? But Lewis is the kind of guy, though. It's not like, oh yeah, he's got to put in this 3-month camp, and he's all set in the mindset. He's the kind of dude who's like, shit, I got to fight tomorrow. Fuck, okay, I'll get there, and I'll fight, and I'll be like the same goddamn thing.
Pretty much.
So, I mean, Lewis is not a guy that you think is world champion caliber. Like Werdum has been doing this for 15 years. Fought all the best dudes, fought on the best orgs, done all this kind of stuff. It just seems like there's a talent gap here. The levels thing. Yeah, Werdum wins. Next up, I'm sure Nushan's looking forward to talking about this fight yet again. Mighty Mouse, you think this actually happens?
Fuck, I'm not convinced. I don't know.
I'm not either.
Ray Borg says that it wasn't the weight cut that made him sick last time, yet he cuts his nutrition people. Fuck, I don't know. I mean, if he doesn't make it this time, I don't know what they're gonna do. But yeah, I'm not gonna break it down too much. You guys know how I feel about Demetrius. I think he's gonna style on him. I am pissed that all my money got refunded last time because I had inside the distance. Fight doesn't go the distance around minus 120, and now at dimes it's sitting at minus 175. I was able to get it at minus 150 at another book, but yeah, I think he does work and finishes in the third. Plain and simple.
Dougie.
Yeah, I would play the inside the distance or the under 4.5 here. I think he's going to make an example out of Borg. This is the record breaker, right?
You bet your ass.
Yeah, he's not fucking losing this. He's not fucking around here. He's going to go beat this dude to death and get out of there. I really doubt. I really question if Ray Borg makes weight, though. That's the only thing that I worry about here. He's missed a lot of times.
Yes, he has, and I agree. That is a really good question. I got Mighty Mouse an A++, Borg a B. Agreed. I think the biggest question here is, will Borg make the weight this time? Otherwise, do they fight? Do they fight at a catch weight? I don't know what the hell they do. It doesn't sound like Mighty Mouse would consider fighting Bibulador or Moraga for flyweights also on the card. I mean, I don't see that happening. So it'd be really disappointing if Mighty Mouse is scheduled to fight twice in 2 months and then none of the fights happen. But if it does, Borg's just too young for this, I think. I mean, he's a pretty talented fighter, but it would be nice to have a little more seasoning. The Formiga fight was a good win. It was a competitive fight. He won the fight. He showed some things, but he's just not ready for this level of competitor yet. So look for Mighty Mouse to win, probably win every round until he gets a finish, which I could see him doing mid to late in this bout. Main event. I'll start with Dougie on this one because of I think he's really been amped to talk about it. Tony Ferguson Kevin Lee, interim lightweight title, go.
I have Tony bias, obviously. I have the hometown connection with him. But Tony is going to come forward like a fucking zombie and just throw the kitchen sink at him. He's going to be fucking rolling thunder. He's going to be doing fucking flying elbows. He's going to be doing spinning elbows. He's going to be doing his little weird fucking shit that he does in training that doesn't make sense, And Kevin Lee is going to run out of gas, and Tony's not. And I don't really... The in-between of how it gets to that point, I don't think Kevin Lee can finish Tony. I just don't.
How would he finish him?
Yeah, that's what I mean. The only
he's not
way.
subbing him.
Yeah, that's the only way he could, because he's not a better boxer than Tony, and he maybe, if he can get on his back somehow with Tony doing something reckless, but I still even think Tony can get out of that kind of a space, just because he's so unorthodox, and he's going to just roll into something weird or roll into a knee bar just to escape it. And I jumped on Tony -200 on the opener, and when my book opens the inside the distance, I'll take that as well. You can't get knocked out by Leo Santos and hope you don't get knocked out by Tony Ferguson. It just doesn't work like that. This dude's broken people's jaws and shit in the UFC, and he's got a lot of ways to win this fight, and Kevin Lee has one kind of shot in the dark rear naked choke. I don't even know if Kevin Lee can win a decision. Just because Tony does so much volume and damage, that's going to add up over 25 minutes if you can make it. Tony big. I don't see how Kevin Lee can win.
Sean.
Yeah, this is a fun fight. Tony Ferguson is basically the Terminator. He comes forward and puts just a ridiculous...
Wait, I gotta interrupt. Did you guys know that Liam McGarry's fighting Bubba McDaniel?
Yeah, because King Mo dropped out.
Oh, God.
That's Bellator.
That fight lasts less than a minute.
That is Bellator, baby.
Yeah, all right, back to regular schedule programming.
Yeah, so I was kind of looking to wait until round 2 and maybe live bet Ferguson. He has kind of come out slow for a couple fights, and in the Venata fight he got cracked early, but he was obviously able to overcome. So maybe Lee can get him early and you get a little bit better on Ferguson. But when the price dropped to -170, I just had to take it. That is just way too low considering the stylistic matchup here. Like Dougie said, Lee, he's improving his hands and stuff like that, but Ferguson's just varied attack from every part of his body is just crazy. And do you really think that Kevin Lee is going to be able to sub Tony Ferguson? Maybe it could happen. But Ferguson's pace and just aggressiveness and is just going to wear down Kevin Lee, and Ferguson should get a sub or even a knockout. Like Dougie said, Leonardo Santos knocked him out. It can be done. It's not that hard. So Ferguson could land one early and just be lights out. I kind of expected to go a little bit longer. Ferguson maybe grabs a sub in the third. I am looking at inside the distance, but seeing as I got Ferguson at -170, I think I'll just sit on that. I think inside the distance, is -120? That's still a good number. I'd play that if I didn't have the -170.
I got Ferguson A+, Kevin Lee B. Kevin Lee still, for all intents and purposes, is a one-trick pony. He's a surprisingly good wrestler, and he's become one of the best offensive wrestlers in the division. He can actually still be taken down defensively. He won't be in this bout, but he could be. And from top position, he's pretty ruthless. But he's never faced anybody with, at least when he's been on this kind of up streak in the division, with like a grappling game that Ferguson has, or even a guard. I mean, Ferguson's triangle is one of the best in this. I mean, how good is it, Dougie?
I mean, to be 100% honest, does he have a good triangle?
It's the dark.
He's got a crazy front headlock series, and I just, like, Tony used to be a paid sparring partner in boxing. Like, people don't know that shit. Like, Tony's a really, really good boxer. When he was not good at jiu-jitsu before he moved down south when he was here, that's literally what he did. That's all he did was box. That's all he did. He was, like, obsessive like he is about it with jiu-jitsu now.
That's what it sounds like.
And he was a NAIA collegiate wrestler. So, he's got like all tools covered, and he's got the weird frame. That's going to be another really interesting thing, is these guys are both got like crazy reach, and they're both used to that, and it's going to cancel each other out. So that's going to be interesting to see how the reach game plays out with this. But
tell you one thing though. So Tony's, I think his last 4 bouts, he's fought a combined, like, I think I did the math. So it was like, trying to do the math, 25, 15. It was something like 55 minutes in the cage. He's landed 409 significant strikes in 55 minutes of action. It's something like 7.5 to 8 significant strikes a minute, which just based on those 4 bouts would be higher than anyone in the history of the UFC over the course of their career, like significant strikes per minute. So the volume thing is very, very real. He throws punches and bunches and everything else. The kitchen sink narrative is real. Really, so I think the biggest fear for Kevin Lee is, like, yeah, he could have some success earlier in this bout, like scoring a takedown, but he's not going to be able to submit Tony Ferguson because, like, he's just not as good as the submission. He's just not as good. I don't really see Tony being submitted. I mean, I can't even remember the last time Tony was submitted in a bout.
Tony's never been submitted. Tony was submitted really, really early in his career by triangle when he did.
He has one submission loss
to Jamie Tony. Yeah, yep. I was there, and like that was literally when Tony the MO on Tony was you can sub him, and he didn't change that for a long time.
He's only lost one bout since then.
He hadn't changed it even when he was on The Ultimate Fighter. He was a boxer wrestler on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah,
that's why Lesnar liked him.
Mm-hmm.
And it took him, because he came back here and he still wasn't doing jiu-jitsu because they tried to bring him into the schools around here, and he didn't. He's fucking weird. Like, I found out that my jiu-jitsu instructor Fabio Leopoldo, who used to fight in the IFL for Henzo's team,
does he have friends?
Are they friends?
No, does he have friends, Tony?
Not really.
I'm just curious.
I think like his training partners, he's obviously friends with, but
friendly.
He hangs out with his chick.
Okay.
That's or his wife, I guess now. And he's got a kid now and stuff. So I don't think he's interested in anything else. But
he's super intense.
He's super intense, and he's fucking weird, and he's confident in himself, so he doesn't care what anybody thinks. And now he's making money, and he's on, he's best in the world. So now nobody can't really say anything to him at all. But the other thing that he does that's weird is he wrestles Funk. So he's not going to meet Kevin Lee with like a regular sprawl or something like that. He's going to roll into something weird. Yeah. And that helps his jiu-jitsu. But there's only like one other guy in high-level MMA that rolled Funk, and that was Askren. That wrestled like that different kind of wrestling. It doesn't make sense what they're doing, but it works because they just do it. and they've been doing it their whole life. But Tony doesn't sprawl against you. Tony will go with your shot and roll.
Right.
So you have to find like
There's
weird
a lot of transitions.
guy. Yeah, and a guy that does MMA at a high level, like that's a hard thing to find. It's going to be hard for Kevin Lee to take him down and get into a dominant, stable position. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for that
Tony's
weird Danny Castillo fight.
Yeah, but that was when Tony was just getting, like, that's when Tony hadn't figured it out and was in love with it and didn't know when to do it and when not to do it. But that was really the beginning of it, right in there. There was, like, about a year before that was when he started. He darsed Mike
Rio.
Yeah.
Mike Rio.
And he darshed a couple people, and that was like, oh, shit. I was like, where did this come from? And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, he got in with 10th Planet, and then it just kind of went off the Richter for him. And then the narrative for him became he's this crazy jiu-jitsu guy. But that's probably still the weakest part of his game in all reality.
Crazy. Yeah.
Because he's a born wrestler that came here and boxed with Victor Ortiz and David Rodella and Jesse Magdaleno, who were like high-level guys. And I remember getting told back in the day that Tony would get paid like $10,000 to go be like a Pacquiao training partner or someone like on that level. Because he was an MMA guy, they didn't have to worry about shit because he knew how to box and he was really long. And he could do it, and they didn't have to worry about it being a matchup down the line or anything like that. Because he's not boxing, but he was skilled enough because he'd been boxing under high-level boxers for years and years and years. So, just kind of interesting background into the guy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really helpful. So here's kind of continuing along. So it's going to be hard for Kevin Lee to potentially sub him, and really the only way I really see Kevin Lee winning is if he's kind of able to kind of lay on Ferguson, because he's not winning prolonged striking exchanges. It's just not happening. He's not going to be able to maintain the volume necessary, and we've seen it more than once with Kevin Lee. He gets tired in bouts. Not only does he get tired in bouts, is that his chin isn't great. He can be hittable. He tends to struggle. He had even issues against what's his name. Francisco Trinaldo, then he kind of got into a takedown, and then finished. So he's going to have, 25 minutes is a really long time to kind of maintain this, and Ferguson's capable of finishing at any point in a bout. And I really think what happens is that maybe Kevin Lee wins the first, and then Ferguson, just as the fight goes on, it just starts to wear on Kevin Lee, and he's going to get tired, and Tony's going to catch him, and he's going to just kind of throw these different things at him, and either Lee's just going to fall to the mat and he'd be KO'd instantly, or the ref's going to step in just with Tony's barrage of strikes. I think that's it. And Ferguson's your new champion. So I don't see this fight going 5 rounds. I think Ferguson wins inside the distance. I got it at minus 120. I already bet it. I think it's one of the better bets on the card, in all honesty. So
that's our consensus as well.
And it is our consensus as well. Tony Ferguson inside the distance, minus 120. Anything else to add, gentlemen?
No, that's it.
Those are what I like that. Yeah, this is a good card.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is. Let me just see. What is the next fight card after this?
2 weeks. It's Cerrone versus Till.
Oh, Jesus. The one-armed bandit?
You bet your ass.
Who created that nickname?
Get run over. Oh. Yeah. This is like
looking at this card.
Oh.
Ooh. We got Flowy versus Andre Feely? That's going to be fun.
We got Pack-a-Lunch versus Held.
I'm looking at that. Yeah, Brian Kelleher against Damian Stasiak. That could be dangerous. Warley and Jim Wallhead. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's rough for
They really want Warley to get a win there.
I mean, they're trying to kill Jim Wallhead at the same time?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's a bit of a rough card.
Yeah, there's some things there.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, a lot of baseball going on. Hockey starting. Newshawn's going to be happy. Newshawn, are you going to Colorado too, or no?
I am not, because I'm going to Vegas in a month, so couldn't swing that deal.
Fair enough. Dougie, good luck with your competition.
I'll try
I don't know if you'll be back on the. I don't know if the live feed. Who's going to be announcing that though? Are you going to be competing and announcing?
I wish I had an announcer.
I heard there might be some people available with experience.
Yeah, maybe we could FaceTime them and have them do it. That would be fun.
Yeah, because you're definitely not paying to fly those people in.
No, we're not.
No, I'm not sure they can get on an airplane. Anyway, enjoy the fights on Saturday. It should be a good one.